over there right now. So.
Well, I think Jeff is right. And let me say this. When I say problem, I really mean a challenge. Okay, we have to fulfill the promises that we have made. And when you hear me say, well, we have more takers than we have makers, that is not a negative connotation. You're now going to be taking out of the system the pool of money because you're retiring. You've paid in and you've planned on that, but it's a financial obligation that we have to meet, is my point. Well, there's more.
You can play with the numbers and make it look like it's solvent until 2037.
Yeah.
But even if, okay, just for instance, it's solvent until 2037, then what do you do?
Well, did you go to reduce the payroll tax on Social Security?
Sure did.
How did you do that?
Sure. That's not the issue. The issue is. Okay.
Well, let me say this. Here's what I'd like to do, okay, before y'all start peeling off, okay, and we'll get to that, okay, we want to give you your time. Let us present the data. Let us present what we're looking at, okay, or we can go straight into that, but I think you want to see what we're looking at, okay? So let's keep moving. Clearly, as Jeff said, the biggest challenge we face in the federal government as far as the budgeting is Medicare. Okay? I do believe that as we get deeper into the year, our leadership has stated, as well as Paul Ryan has stated, that we will start making proposals, okay, on how to get our hands around these difficult issues. We're not going to have leadership, I don't believe, that's satisfactory on the other side of the aisle. And so therefore, what we're going to do is bring forth some proposals. I will tell you now, I think the easiest for us to get our arms around right now is Medicaid, because we have governors of the states who recognize that Medicaid is crushing the states. And so therefore we have willing governors that want to assist us and help us in solving this issue. So I think that's what you're going to see first going forward as we get deeper into the year. I told you about the $202 billion in interest. Let me tell you how that grows. In 2011, that green line right there is the interest on our debt based on our overall budget. That's that pie chart, the $202 billion you looked at. But what happens with that interest, you all know. You've all made the mistakes and spent more money on a credit card and weren't able to pay off the balance. You know what that means the next month or the next year. Before you know it, you're in a debt spiral. You now owe more in interest, and the principal that you owe is eating you up because it's leading to greater interest payments. Interest is building on top of interest, and then that interest is building on top of interest. And you can see going forward, and I'm talking about Samantha, Stephanie, Allie, and Abby, what our children, our grandchildren are looking at as they get into their adult years. You can see the green, and that is the interest on your debt continuing to get larger and larger and larger and larger. And so therefore, now you're looking at the principal's not the issue, the interest is the issue. Now another thing I wanted to show, who owns our debt? This is also a very concerning problem. If you look at 1970, you'll see in 1970 the debt held by the public was $283 billion. And of that $283 billion of debt, 5% was owned by foreign holdings, foreign countries. Fast forward to 1990, our public held debt was $2.4 trillion. You'll notice 19% was owned by foreign countries. Fast forward to 2010, that debt number had grown to $8.4 trillion of publicly held debt. And this is the thing that is most concerning to me, is now 47%, nearly 50% of our debt, publicly held debt, is owned by foreign countries around the world. And many of those countries do not share American values or appreciate the rights and the liberties of individual people. Okay? There are countries who have a terrible record on human rights abuses. They have obviously adversarial thoughts towards America and towards what we stand for. And so therefore, that little passage of scripture that I shared out of Proverbs, that the borrower will be slave to the lender. I believe in that word. I believe in that Bible. And I believe that right there terrifies me in relation to that. Yes, ma'am.
That Japanese flag means that one of the people that we owe is Japan?
Correct.
Why don't we use the help we're sending them to help pay our debt to them?
Great question. Common sense question. I would agree. I would
They
agree.
need our help and it's nice to do it, but in the same way.
No, look, that's a business mindset. Look, I'll give you that, and you know, I'll give you this as long as that goes against the debt. I mean, it's dollars. Here's the thing: it's money that you, the American taxpayer, we, the American taxpayer, have to forfeit. I mean, have to pay. So.
And one of the ground rules I'd like to ask, so everybody can hear, if you would stand up, so folks over here can hear you, and also if you would just identify yourself, so we can call you by your first and last name.
Randy Chambers of Niceville, Florida. Harkening back to the graph that showed the debt rising, I noticed that the graph started rising prior to 2010.
Sure.
Right around 2008. When the market crashed, and if I'm not mistaken, Barack Obama was not president at that point when the debt started spiraling out of control.
Well, interestingly enough, while the president wasn't in office, the Congress was Democrat at the time, and they're the ones that control the purse strings. But let me just take that. Let me take this argument off the table real quick, and then let you finish. Nobody is saying that the Republicans aren't complicit in what went on either. Because President Bush passed a ridiculous Medicare prescription drug plan, Medicare Part D, of which I was one of 25 that voted against it because we were putting ourselves on a trajectory of physical instability. And now with President Obama, I mean, okay, so we did this much. The president now has done this much. But the Democrats have controlled the Congress since '06. So, I'm sorry.
So now that we're discussing that, okay, the tax breaks for the wealthy, for the top 100%, were created by whom?
Me. I helped vote for it. I voted for it, and I voted to extend them.
Yes. Okay. These benefits are very few people. Maybe some people in this room. They added $800 billion to the tax debt. That's problematic. Why is that not being considered?
Let me show you this right here, because this is going to answer that question. It's not government's responsibility to create a job. It's not. Okay? And unlike my friends on the other side of the aisle, they want job creation to come out in the form of a government program. That is not.
I thought job creation was your number one.
It is. If you let me finish, and let me explain this graph that you're looking at right here. With over $2 trillion of private investments sitting on the sidelines, $2 trillion right now that's being held. People are not spending. Why? Because of uncertainty. They're not spending it. Congress must pursue an all-out assault on uncertainty in order to stimulate the private sector. If you look at this graph, and this graph right here measures private investment. If you see when this graph goes up, you see the unemployment rate comes down. Those lines right there almost reflect what happens when private investment dollars are being spent. Okay, I don't look to Uncle Sam, okay, to create a job for me. I ask them to create an environment. No, I don't.
You're in Congress.
No, that's not Congress's job.
No.
No, you have a public sector job, excuse me. You have the medical benefits.
We were
First of all, let me say this, and let me get that off the table. I pay for my health insurance benefits. I know that disappoints people when they find out that I have to pay for my health care. When they find out I have to pay Social Security and federal withholding, okay, and that I don't get retirement for life if I die after first term. That's not the case. That's not true. That I pay for my own housing, that I pay for my own dental, that I make a choice to spend my dollars that I make in order to have my benefits. So a lot of people don't believe that, but that's true. It's public. Look it up. Go find it. Okay? So the plan, the health care plan, the Blue Cross, Blue Shield health care plan that I've chosen for my family, I pay for it. I'm sorry?
You pay a premium, but you don't pay for it.
Did I pay your premium?
Did I
pay the same premium and have it separate?
If you were a federal employee,
If you're a federal
the same
employee,
premium. It's the exact same health care.
That is true, sir.
It's the exact same health care. In fact, our retirement is less than a federal employee's retirement. We get
Look,
less.
first of all, all, let me say this.
Well, but I'm going to call it, you have to be honest before you How many years?
I think we vested six.
I think it's
6 years.
I've been doing my job.
Yeah, 1.3% a year is what we get. Yes, sir.
Earl Banger from Niceville, Sutherland, my district, right in your district. This is a very interesting chart, and I write on the economy and the markets every day, market ticker. And you notice, as you noted, investment is part of it. But I think you're looking at the wrong reasons for this. We currently have a hypocrisy in this country. I'm a small businessman. I used to run an internet company in Chicago before I moved down here. Today, I would not start a new business in this country, no matter how much money I have, and I've got money. Sure. And the reason is this. In 2006, this has been admitted to under oath, Citibank, 60% of the loans they wrote were defective. They were sold to investors, and those people got hosed. In 2007, that was 80%. This again has been admitted to under oath. If you or I did something like that, you go to prison. If I robbed my investors, the shareholders of my corporation, on 8 out of 10 deals that I did, I'd go to jail. These people have not gone to jail. So if I am a small businessman and you tell me that you want me to create jobs, you want me to hire, why would I do that? Why would I make an investment when one of these major financial institutions can come along and steal what I have worked so hard to earn? I have to live by the law, but they do not. And until the Republican Party solves this problem, that number is not going to go back up. That's the beginning and end of it. I'm telling you that as a small businessman now, and as that hasn't been what I've done my entire life. If you want me to hire people, instead of being a single member LLC, you'll lock those people up, because until you do, I'm not doing it. That's the end of it.
Well, and I don't disagree with you.
Then why are
Man, I've been there 90 days. Okay, I know that's disappointing to you.
Wait. I was there before
I'm
you.
sorry. I got through Jeff under the
I was there
bus.
before you.
You've been in office a whole lot more than 90 days.
I sure have, and that's why I say nobody is too big to fail.
It's not about too big a bill, it's too big to jail.
Okay, let me. I hear you. But you know who the law enforcement arm is, correct?
Yeah, and I also know that you can defund them. Hello, who holds the purse strings? Congress, yes?
One side.
We own one
We own
side.
one
We have one side.
Without an appropriations bill originating in the House of Representatives, how much money do they have to spend?
Look,
Zero.
It's what we're trying to do right now.
look, first of all,
Shut it down until people start getting locked up.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, I'm a small business owner.
That number's not going up until...
No, but that number's a factual number.
But it's not going to go up...
But I also know this, that you can only take $1 to so many places. There's opportunity cost. And as long as... But wait a minute, not everybody is privately wealthy like you are. Not everybody has a small business.
I understand.
But my point is every dollar that the federal government spends, and under this administration, spending has increased over 20%. The point is, look, one of my values is respect, and I have 6. Respect, discipline, excellence, honesty, courage, and loyalty. And we're going to honor those. Okay? So, but as far as small business, my grandfather started our small business almost 60 years ago with a 6th grade education. After coming back from World War II, with $3,000 of borrowed money, I perpetuate a business that's almost 60 years old. Our family's in the funeral business. We've never been closed a day. Not a Christmas, not a Thanksgiving, not a New Year's, not an Easter. I grew up with 6 phone lines ringing in my home. 6. At 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. So I know what it's like to sweat a payroll, to sign the front of checks. I understand. You're frustrated. You're angry. Okay? As you should be. Okay? I'm not the bad guy here.
I'm not arguing that you are. But we have $1,700 billion in deficit spending that took place in calendar year 2010. Okay? Simply, the amount of debt at the beginning of the year, you want debt, at the end of the year, subtract it. Take all the budgetary gains out of the picture,